I have told you many times about the infuriating frustrations that I've had with AI. And the title of today's video gives you a clue that I think I've solved it. I think I've solved it. The title here is the biggest moneymaker for computer support in 2026, AI automation. And this is a hint that I think this is not only solved for how to interact with AI, but has given me a vision of something that I think is going to be a substantial focus of my business providing computer support to small businesses through 2026. Now, I was supposed to have heard a SpeakerBot confirmation by now, and I didn't hear it. So I'm going to take a double check on that. Exclamation mark. I did a little fighting with that before showtime. I'm not hearing it. Nope, says there's an error. Yeah. Okay, I know how to fix that. Let's see if I can show you this fixed. Oh, but I got to get, I didn't go to monitor 3. Okay, I'll just do a quick little fix over here. Yeah, if I take out the 11 labs, it's speech engine altogether. That should do it. But I can't delete it from there. Why not? Default is Microsoft. I want to get straight into this AI fix that I think I have. And I think it's going to be useful for not only for people who provide computer support to small businesses, but for anyone who wants to use AI, because there's so many times that it just behaves like a, if you've ever been in the position of small business to hire young people, you hire somebody at 20 years old or something, they come in thinking, no, they just got the world by the tail and they can fix everything about your business, and they start trying to do things of their own initiative without getting approval. And they go, no, you can't do it that way because you just don't know. You don't have experience. And that's what the AIs behave like. No, you can't do that. So gotta rein them in. Oh, why is that not letting me do that there? Your SpeakerBot interactions are going to be hit and miss if I don't fix this. So I've got to commands. See, I don't get into this often enough to remember immediately how to do it. And they've changed the interface. Thank you very much, StreamerBot. A whole new interface. Where do I control this now? Good golly, Miss Molly. One in chat if you hate it when software makes changes. You gotta go figure out how to do this now. 0 if that never bothers you. Okay, here. Yeah, there's some 1s. Okay, so I got to change voice alias is only letting me do 11 labs random. Oh,
yes,
golly.
affirmative.
That one worked. Okay, I got to move on. I did a pre-show check, Ken Stout. That's where I discovered a problem. And I implemented a fix. I thought I had that fix. And notice that, Ken Stout, you're the first name that I mentioned. Do I get points for that? Okay, so I got to get over to the actual meat of this. And let's see, somebody already mentioned in chat their frustrations. Greg M, is it? Let's see who that was. And he's particularly frustrated right now with AI. Yeah, there he is. There he is. Saying right here, Greg M, second mention today. Second person mentioned, don't know how much AI I will be able to stomach today. Had a frustrating time with Gemini, serving up dead links and not following specs. All right. And Ken Stout, that one worked. Now, so I think Greg M is already using some specs. Now, maybe what he means by specs is different than what I'm going to show here. Maybe it's a very similar thing. And then he says, remember that conversation, then it does not hallucinate easily. Yeah, I didn't quite. Spec as in criteria in the initial question. Okay, so what I've got here is an AI coding protocol. And what I was dealing with yesterday was specifically on coding. I have been doing coding with multiple different languages on many projects that I haven't been talking about on stream. They've been batch files. They've been, I know I'm going to be forgetting names right now. PowerShell. They've been C++. They've been, what's that one that starts with a P? I'm not remembering it right now. There's been Microsoft Visual Basic for applications. There's been Copilot for GitHub. Many different language models and AI systems. Hasn't been just Gemini, but it's been Copilot and it's been ChatGPT, and I'm not going to try to mention all those, but I found all of them doing the same thing and messing up the same way. So by going through this protocol, I'm going to be able to elaborate to you the ways that AI coding messes up, and you've got to put rules in place. Now, I only created this yesterday. It's been on my mind for a while, but yesterday I got so frustrated with it that I just said, all right, let's fix this. Now, let's get this zoomed up a bit. I'm storing this in OneNote. And by the way, there's a link in the description of this video to this document. So you can access it right now, clicking that link in the description of the video. It should be right at the top. If you don't see it, then refresh your screen, because I only added that link about, 10 minutes before showtime. I call this the AI coding protocol. Prompt. Version 3.0, full compliance. You will comply. Resistance is futile. Copy and paste the text below. Use Control-Shift-V to paste in AI chat window. See all these emojis in here? Originally, this was designed, and I had Gemini help me create this prompt. Originally, these were outline numbers, and they didn't copy and paste very well from OneNote back into an AI chat. So I asked Gemini, how do we fix that? And Gemini said, well, we can use emojis. They will copy and paste just fine. And that is true. But using Control-Shift-V to paste without changing the emojis. Is that right? I don't think that's needed anymore. I think that's what I had to use when we were using outlines. But anyway, this directive was developed in the Gemini chat titled Timeslips Copy QBO, QuickBooks Online, to FreshBooks. That's the project that I was working on at the time, which was using AutoHotkey. So that's another language environment. Due to extensive difficulties encountered during that coding project, which has been consistent with all coding projects using AI prior to developing this protocol. Am I still going to have problems after developing this protocol? I feel pretty optimistic about it. Then one of the things that I added was protocol metadata. so that I'll always have a track on the development, because this will be a living document. This will be something that advances over time. The title of this, AI Coding Protocol, author DougBetts with Gemini Assistance, version 3.0 Platinum Edition. Really? Yeah, I'm going to have to take that out. That was something that Gemini thought that would be cool, I guess. That's stupid. The date of this revision, the time of this revision. This was the first revision that we actually put a version number, and calling it 3.0 is a reasonable in light of how many times I revised it or added to it. System instruction, strict coding, and project anchor protocol. So this, and it added the word anchor. All right, I guess. So the prompt that I used to create this prompt was that I want a prompt that I can use with any AI when pursuing a coding project that will achieve these objectives. And you'll come to understand these objectives as I go through this. I think this is a useful thing to go through. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I am the lead developer. You are my code editor. Put you in your place. I am pasting this instruction to establish the rules of engagement for this session. I will be able to copy and paste this into every, not only new session, but every time I come back to a session. When you've been working on a coding project and then you walk away and you come back, that is the highest potential time in my experience that it's going to mess you up and mess with you. So this is written in a way that it can be repasted in the midst of a project when I return to it. Project context and environment. This is part 1. Scan our chat history immediately. So this is what happens when I'm coming back to a project. Condition A, ongoing. If we have already established the language, product versions, and product objective explicitly, confirm them in your response. Example, confirmed auto hotkey version 2. ENV, what is that? Environment, QuickBooks Online, Stream Deck, version 6, objective, copy time slips. So I'm expecting after I paste this response and hit enter, it's going to look back at our chat history. And if it finds that we have already identified a language, then it's going to tell me what that is. And that is a required response. Condition B, new or undefined, meaning this is a new chat, a new programming project. If these are not established, meaning the language, product version, product objective, stop and ask me, please specify the language relevant product versions. Example, software year version and the project objective. Action, once I answer, you must propose, that's the AI, you must propose a stable script name. Example, QBO_copy.ahk, that would be for auto hotkey project that I was working on yesterday, based on the objective. We will use the, and by the way, the project eventually wound up great. It works great. But it was a struggle to get there because it kept diverting, doing things that I did not authorize it to do. Come up with its own ideas. Well, I asked it later, why did you do that? Well, I thought this would be cleaner code. You're not allowed to do that. Well, I didn't have this protocol in place. And so it did things like that. And notice this auto hotkey version 2. There was one point during that project, which was using auto hotkey version 2, that it jumped ship and changed the code to be auto hotkey version 1. It switched to an older version. Later I asked, why did you do that? And it said, well, the code available in version 1 was just cleaner for this particular piece. You cannot switch from one version to another, okay? This is the 20-year-old coming in and thinking they can do things that you can't do. And stop asking, please specify action. Once I answer, you must propose a stable script name. Based on the objective, we will use this file name for the duration of the project. I don't want it to change file names. It tried doing that on me. Part 2, the 6 commandments. Once the project context is locked, you must adhere to these rules until the session ends. No unrequested changes. Why did you make that change and not tell me? Oh, I've had that happen so many times. No unrequested changes. Do not refactor, optimize, clean up, or rewrite any code outside the specific function or logic block I asked you to address. If I ask you to fix a specific button, do not touch the rest of the script. Leave all other code exactly as it was. Now, to the credit of Gemini, probably any AI, I did not write this paragraph. I did not draft this paragraph. It came up with that text based on the frustration that it knew that I had experienced during that programming project. So it came up with its own text for, preventing that from happening again. Hit the right key, Doug. Stack version and integrity. You are strictly forbidden from switching languages, changing library versions, or assuming software versions, such as switching from AutoHotkey version 2 to version 1. Does that sound familiar? Did I tell you that story already? Or assuming QuickBooks Online desktop menus. You must lock to the versions established in Part 1. If a solution requires a version change, you must stop and ask for permission. Propose before acting. If you see a better way to do something, or if my current strategy is flawed, you must stop and explain your reasoning first. Ask, I recommend a different approach because of X. Do you want me to proceed with this new strategy? Do not write the code for the new strategy until I reply yes. Number 4. What were these called? Some kind of rules or something? Part 1, Part 2, commandments. Yeah, this is a commandment coming up here. And that was, it came up with that terminology. All right. No UI, user interface, guesswork. Documentation first. Oh, this has caused me so many headaches. Where it tells me, well, it's probably in this such and such menu. Go choose such and such menu. And it doesn't say probably, it says go choose such and such menu. I go look, and I tell it, it doesn't exist. There is no such menu. I don't want any more guesswork. And it responds with, well, it's usually that kind of a menu option. No UI guesswork. Documentation first. Do not deduce, guess, or reason where menus options should be. Fact check. You must base instructions on authentic documentation for the specific version we are using. Admit ignorance. If you don't know the exact menu path, state, I cannot verify the menu path for this specific version. Please check manufacturer's name, documentation, or verify the location of particular setting. Do not say it is usually located under. Yeah, been there, done that. Number 5. I don't even remember. Number 5. What? Oh, commandment. Yeah, number 5. Output, integrity, and metadata critical. Full code only. Every code block you provide must be the entire file. Do not use placeholders, such as code remains the same. There's been times when I ask for revisions. So it gives me the revision, and I'm expecting the entire code. So I click copy and I go paste it into the code. I'm not going to go read through all the code and see what changes it made. No. And it puts in something like this. Code remains the same, where it's expecting me to surgically take code and paste it in the right place. No, I don't want to do that. You do that work. You're the AI in this. You're the subordinate in this. Give me the whole code. I click copy. I go highlight the entire existing code and paste. Oh, you drive me nuts, you. Yeah, I couldn't come up with the right adjective there. Do not place holders. Required header. Every script must start with a comment block containing exactly these fields. Script name, the stable name established in part 1. Language.
Read chat, please.
Jeff Ryman, are you using paid versions of the AI tools? Yes, because I have Google for Workplaces, something like that. So the Gemini that I'm using is a paid version. I also, when I use Microsoft AI products, I have that paid. When I use Adobe products, I have that paid. So with the one that is for my thumbnails, Canva, that's paid. So yeah. So paid versions did not fix the issues. They're still ill-behaved. I don't know. I need a good adjective for that. Language, environment, target software versions, objective, the project goal, version, incremented number, date and time of the increment, revision summary, what was changed in that version. Something that I'm going to add to this, idea that I had since the last pasting of this, is a change log. To maintain a change log within the script as comments at the bottom of the script. So version number, what was changed in that version. So I have a running change log actually in the code, no matter what code language that I'm working in. Now, let me understand, I'm not a coder. I have done some coding. I am not nearly skilled enough to call myself a coder, but AI has opened up massive opportunities. Now, because I know coding well enough to know basic structures and troubleshooting techniques and such, I can do a lot better with it than somebody who doesn't know coding at all. But the thing that I'm going to be able to offer my clients, we haven't got into yet. And that is exciting, I think. It's going to be exciting. Strategic troubleshooting. If a bug is complex, you are encouraged to propose a diagnostic version. This version must still contain the full code, but you should use logic flow, inserting a return or exit command to isolate the problem area. So let me clue you in what's going on here. Very often, when coding with AI, something doesn't work. Well, that's true with human coding too. And then when we try to troubleshoot or fix it, we make little surgical fixes. Maybe this will work. Well, sometimes the code takes a long time to run before you really know the result. So what this diagnostic version is, what that means is that we're just going to take this section of code and try to fix this. Well, what the AI was doing was it was giving me brand new, different code to accomplish just that piece. And then we get that fixed there. And then I tell it to put that back into the main body, and it goes back to the broken code. It has a complete disconnect between what it used for diagnosing how to accomplish the particular task that we're trying to do. So what I'm telling it here, I want to take the full code and just use program logic to execute only the path that we're interested in. Now, when doing that, sometimes the language that you're working in will generate an error message when you try to execute the code, warning you that this particular code would never get executed. Well, if the language allows for it, there may be a continue button. Say, yes, I accept that. That's okay. Because I only want to test that portion. And part of that Diagnostic version gives me perhaps a dialog window for entering manually information that would normally have been entered during the process of the code, and give me a results dialog window at the end, maybe to show me the content of certain variables so that I know whether it actually worked or not. And that technique has been successful. Propose a diagnostic version. This version must still contain the full code, but you should use logic flow, inserting a return or exit command to isolate the problem area. Ignore warnings. I accept that this technique may cause unreachable code warnings. Do not delete the unreachable code. Simply leave it below the return so it is preserved for later. Response required. The AI is required to respond after I paste this prompt, hit enter. It's required to respond. If the context is known, the response is protocol accepted, confirmed. You state the language, you state the environment, you state the objective, and you say you're ready. If the context is unknown, reply with a question in part 1. So this is where I'm at this point with this AI coding protocol, and I'm storing that in Microsoft OneNote in a Microsoft OneNote document called AI, and it has many different subheadings. What do they call them here? Let's see, I got to take that off screen before I open that. Subheadings, and yeah, that was going to expose client names and stuff. But what you're seeing here is just the four pages that are in this section of the AI coding file. Okay, and if you click that link that's in the description, in fact, I'd like for somebody to let me know that link does work for you. You'll get this exact document if you think that's of use to you. Now, how is this going to be a major new offering to my clients? Well, we're coming up close to the end of the year. I send most of my invoices by email directly. Well, until December 31st, it's in QuickBooks Online. Starting January 1st, it's going to be in FreshBooks. Rick Lake says, yes, it works. Thank you. Jeff Ryman says he found the document. Thank you. And for the last few years, 2 years at least, I think more than 2 years, the email that the invoice is attached to that has a couple of paragraphs in it about upgrading from Windows 10 to Windows 11. I'm informing all my clients that Windows 10 is no longer in support and so on. So that message is due to change, right? That's a little bit old. So the new message, and I'm going to show it to you as I develop it. I haven't even started developing it yet. I will use AI to help me develop it. But that message will be informing my clients that I have the capability of providing assistance for them that they might not have thought of. Any kind of tasks with their computer that takes somebody a significant amount of time, a lot of repetitive, over and over kind of work, that I can automate those or help automate those through the use of AI tools and some programming at not very expensive costs. And I've done many of these projects manually without AI in the past. For instance, one project is the law firm, the Law 40 office. One of their senior partners was spending several hours every month breaking out the partner's shares of the various different revenue the company shared, because it was a very complex structure. Different partners within the firm had different pieces of different cases. Some of the partners had more seniority. The junior partners had less. There was all kinds of different splits. And this senior partner was spending hours every month figuring this all out. Well, I automated it for him in Excel, manually creating the formulas and functions so that all they had to do was put in the information that's provided by the bookkeeper, and in seconds, they had all the splits available for them. Well, that project would have gone a whole lot faster if I had AI at the time. That's a project I did a couple years ago. It's been many projects I've done like that manually to automate processes or semi-automate processes for my clients. And that's going to go so much quicker, so much easier, less expensive for my clients. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun working on those kind of projects. So that's what the title of this video was referring to as the biggest moneymaker for computer support in 2026, AI automation. I think this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. All right. That covers the AI topic, unless there's feedback from the chat room. For those who might be seeing this video on the replay and don't even know about this channel and maybe got interested because of the thumbnail or the title, you can stop watching now if you want to. I hope you'll continue watching though, because what we do here currently once a week, I really want to get back to 6 days a week. We'll get there, I think. But currently what we do on Saturdays is tackle any Windows issues that somebody might be having with their computers in the chat room, or that has come to me by email, or I talk about experiences with clients during the week. And it's all towards the objective of helping Windows computer providers, Windows support providers to be better at what they do, whether you're charging for it or whether you're doing it for free. And as in accomplishing that, we take on trying to help people with problems that they're actually having. All right, let's go say hello to the people in chat. I've already mentioned a couple people. Hello, Scott. Scott was first this morning, 5:47 a.m. Doug, when did you schedule this show? About 3:30 this morning, I think. Were you up that early, Doug? Well, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and there's no way I'm going to get back to sleep. Might as well get up and do something. And that was part of what I was working on there, was that protocol. And then I went ahead and created the thumbnail. Oh, and that thumbnail was a new AI pursuit. That was with, I'd never tried it before, with an Adobe AI product for creating images. With that much of a mention, I should show it. My easiest way to show it, I think, is over here. Yeah, just putting that up. Yeah, code without coding. So and I had Gemini come up with a prompt for this code without coding title. All right, back to chat. So, Scott, RMC, I believe is Robert, Mr. Buck, Darren Gilholm, Alice Jones, Rick Lakes, hello, Greg M, hello, Mark Baggett, Ben Laird, hello, Rand Israel, hello, Scott again. Let's see if I can pick out the names that I haven't already seen. Doug Bott, good to see you, my friend. Tim Cruz is here, Phil Stodd. Tim Cruz again. Let's Oh yeah, because they're doing handles. Did somebody come up with information that I can change that so that it uses the user-friendly names? If anybody remembers that or knows that, please let me know in chat. Ken Stout, his coolness. Great. I think I know, I can almost say his name. I don't want to say the one name that's in my mind right now because I think I'm wrong. Let's see. There's Ken Stout saying you can change your handle, but it's crazy. No, not. That's not what I'm asking for. I don't want to change the handle. I'm looking for a command that I can put for this live stream that will cause YouTube to display the user-friendly names in the chat room.
Read chat, please.
Rather than the handles. Steve is first name. That is what I was going to say. I was going to say Steve for his coolness. I should have done it because now you don't believe me. Yeah, sure you were, Doug. Heard that before. Greg M. canceled his subscription to Kaggy.com since the AI they provide access to are also brain dead. My guess is that they all are until you learn how to use the tool. And I was thinking about this. If you hand a 16-year-old a power tool like a saber saw with no instructions, no guidance, or take them to a drill press, a full stand-up drill press, and say, give them a project, give them some wood, go drill these holes, put this together. Do you think they're going to be very effective at it? Take a 16-year-old and sit them in a car in the driver's seat with absolutely no instruction whatsoever. This is a person who has not been paying attention to watch their parents drive all their childhood like I was. What do you think is going to happen? I think there are techniques for working with all of these AIs that a skilled operator, a person has to become a skilled operator to be able to be successful. I have lost so much time down the drain, so many times that I thought I could have just gone and done this manually. Just click, drag, click, drag, click, drag, click, drag, carpal tunnel. Yeah. That almost sounded like a jingle.
Read chat, please.
Yeah, the AI subscription alone just isn't going to do it. Randy Israel, with that read chat, please message says, and that's why power tools shouldn't be offered to teenagers. Same logic should be applied to AI. Now, I have already put power tools in the hands of my currently 12-year-old grandson, but it was strict supervision. I'm telling him precisely what to do, and he's not allowed to touch it without me there. I just wanted to give him a little taste, see if there's any little light of joy there. Not so much. I mean, he enjoyed it. Well, you saw, I've shown you in the trailers when we took him out to that shop and he drilled holes through hard drives. He enjoyed that. He hasn't asked to go back. I don't know if Tim was asking me about my monetization. Yes, that got fixed. I've already talked about that. Not going to talk about that. Oh, you know what? I haven't been paying attention to names. There's Steve. Are there any other new names? Marsman, hello. Good to see you. Celestia Guru, hello. Oh, did I ever know a name for Celestia Guru? I think I did. No, Celestia Guru is somebody that is commonly here under a different channel name. Who is it? Yes, and I think that's actually maybe his wife's. Is it Steve's? Is it his coolness? Somebody. His coolness. Let's see. Has anyone tell me that yet in chat? I'm looking at the current chat on OBS, and Ken says, no, that's not Steve. But it seems like that's a secondary channel for somebody. Rick Lakes, essentially working too hard. Good to see you also. Greg says, once AI query starts going off the rails, you may as well stop the thread. No, disagreed. Absolutely. With this kind of if you get this kind of a control on it, because this is designed from the ground up that I can repaste this at any time during the process. If I see it, forgetting things that we've done before, because one of the first things here is review all of this of our previous chat. Another thing that I want to add in here is let me know if you need me to scroll up, because at least in Gemini, as a chat goes on longer and longer, the older stuff in that chat, just like the YouTube chat, is no longer visible. Well, in the AI chat, you can scroll up and it brings that back in, and scroll up again, brings that in, scroll up again, I think it might be the case that I have to make it all
Read chat, please.
in the computer's current memory for the chat, for the AI to read it. Yes, that's right. Ken said Celestial Guru is Selden Ball. And see here, Ken, all he told me is that it's Selden. Well, that's Selden Ball. Bell. Ball, Bell. Uh-oh. I'm in trouble now. Ball, Bell. Selden Bell. I think it's Bell. Did I lose my highlight? No, I didn't. Good. Ren Israel. We got people responding. Did you just say, I'm sorry, Dave, you cannot do that? Yeah.
Read chat, please.
Celestia Guru says, bounce, not chime. I don't know. Bounce, not chime. I don't know what that means. Greg says, sorry, I disagree. AI does not learn by one correcting it of its mistakes. It is not a thinking being. Okay, we will disagree because I've been able to accomplish that.
Read chat, please.
It is ball, not bell. Okay, thank you. Ball, not bell. Ball, not bell. How? Let's see, Selden. It's close to the word seldom. So how can I associate Selden with ball rather than bell? Okay, Selden has an EN on the end. So I need the B word that does not have an E, which would be ball. So if I can remember that it's the different letter, that might get it for me. I care about names. Get over it. Oops, that scroll didn't work. Ken complaining about what comments I read. Water under the bridge, let it go. Spec as in criteria in the initial question. Yeah, all right. Yes, and it does forget that. And that's why I think that this protocol, when I repaste it, is going to get us back on track. John Williams, hello. Wintermute, hello. I did miss him. Are there any questions or stories of issues people have actually having with their computers? I do not have any emails. I do not have any computers on my desk. I'm sure I have stories to tell when I turn my mind towards it. Let's do the auto scroll. Does this guy know what he's doing? Let's see, Greg in there. I'm glad this is not like some tech enthusiasts that think AI is God's gift to mankind. They always use coding as an example of how AI shines. Well, most people do not need to code or want to code. I think that's going to change. I think that's going to change. I think people who have never contemplated that they might be interested in coding might become interested because of once you learn how to do it, I think it can be done in ways that can save massive amounts of redundant monkey brain work that people get stuck doing sometimes. And perhaps to create capabilities that they never thought possible, never imagined. It's like things that you never imagined. Think before smartphones came around. Did you ever imagine that you could have a device in your pocket within a year? Think a year before smartphones came around. Within a year, that could do the kind of things that a smartphone would do. And now, how many people rely so heavily on those? I think a few years down the road, that's the way we're going to look back on AI. I didn't know I needed it until I learned how to use it. And it may become more, self-capable, where you don't have to supervise it so strongly as what I'm suggesting now. Yeah, problem finding time to. Finding time how to do it with AI, I think, is going to be easier, but yeah, time will tell. Auto scroll's not. Oh, there it goes. Didn't work for a minute. RAM memory. Red Kettle Bandit. Conversations going on here. There's a lot of, every time I hear AI, I just roll my eyes. Yeah, well, maybe we were doing the same thing when they were talking about smartphones. Huh? Maybe. Paid versions of the tools. Yeah. I'm not paying attention to names anymore. Originally, I was just trying to do that.
Read chat, please.
That read chat is Sam Lazar. Doug, do you ever upgrade laptops for clients? For example, more RAM, larger SSD, better Wi-Fi? Yes. Haven't for quite a long time. I don't have, but my clients that use laptops are very stable. We don't come across need for upgrades very often. I've done all of those. Greg says, I use it to do research to summarize and contrast the differences to find prices, but I've lost count how many times that I caught AI serving up wrong info, because I have prior knowledge. That reminds me, I have done a search in Amazon for something that I'm looking for, and it comes up with a whole bunch of listings. And then I use Control-, which zooms out, makes the screen smaller so that there's more that shows up on the screen. So small that I don't want to read it that small. And then I do a screen capture, Control-Shift-S, drag diagonal across it, and then paste that into an AI. and ask it to evaluate these, or maybe I'll tell it what I'm wanting, what I'm looking for, which of these fits what I'm looking for. And it has narrowed down the choices so much easier. How many, okay, one in chat. If you have spent a lot of time looking through Amazon listings, trying to figure out which is the best of those listings for what you want, have you spent a lot of time doing that? 0 if you never have that trouble. 1 if you have experienced that, where you're trying to find something, you got to read through this, look at the comments and look at the specs and look at all the detail about it, look at the pictures, look around, twist it around, and look at the different angles of it to decide which ones you want. Okay, instead of going through all those yourself, shrink the image down, drag across it, paste it in, tell the chat the AI what you're looking for, and I've been amazed how well it narrows down the choices for me. I'll bet there's people watching this live stream right now or watching the video on replay who have been skeptical about AI that never thought about that application and have spent long amounts of time and then maybe even order the wrong one. I've even wind up making the selection, and then get over to my cart, screenshot the cart, paste it into the chat, and I get its approval. And I have had at least once where it tells me, no, you got the wrong version of that here. And I almost ordered the wrong one. I see numbers in a couple of ones and not a big response on those numbers. Steve Celestia Guru says 0.5. John Williams says 3. Jim says 0.5. Sam Lazar says he has elderly clients who refuse to use AI. Well, the way to get them interested is if you have something that they're asking for and you do the AI right in front of them, or when you're connected remotely to them, and you tell them this is something that I use, and you show them how easy it is. Now, it may be that they're refusing to use AI because of all the scare tactics out there, that all of the, well, people that think AI is going to take over the world if we use it like it's a Google search. Come on. There were people that refused to use automobiles because they were going to be so bad. It's going to put all of the blacksmiths out of work. The poor blacksmiths. What are they going to do? These cars, we got to stop them. We can't have cars. That was a thing. There were people that did not want cars. There were people that did not want smartphones. There were people that did not want whatever else. Homeschooling. Every major revision we've ever come across, there's been people that say, no, don't do that. All right, I was trying to catch any other names. So if you have shown up in chat and I haven't said hello to you, feel free to speak up by doing a read chat. You can even do exclamation mark
Red
C.
chat,
and
please.
see, I don't normally encourage that kind of thing, but since I'm not actually on a topic right now, that's okay. Oh, Zavi Minor. He's here. Hello. Good to see you. Thank you for letting me know. I just happened to catch you. He didn't do the exclamation mark C thing. which is okay because now I know. I see you. Custom PC building is dead. Thanks, AI. Really? I'm not so sure about that. Custom PC building for small business, I don't think ever was viable. Some techs like doing that and sold that to their clients. I started my business with custom built. I built them from component parts, but back then we didn't call them custom built PCs. We called them IBM clones or PC clones. Because back then, the only way to get a new computer for a client was to go buy it from a store or order it from Miracell, or I'm surprised I remember that name. Two other major suppliers, but when I ordered from them, it would take a couple weeks, maybe a week when you're lucky. It was not Amazon. Amazon did not exist. Internet, World Wide Web did not exist back then. When pick up a phone and say, Mabel, connect me to so-and-so. No, it wasn't that long ago when I started my business.
Red chat, please.
But I built computers for my clients commonly, and it saved them money. It cost them less than buying from a major manufacturer, even with paying me for my time, because the computers were so much more simple. That last read chat, please, was Celestia Guru, aka Steve. AI data centers are driving up computer hardware pricing, RAM, CPU, GPU, SSDs, due to their unlimited use in all the data centers being built. So is that why that's why the point that custom PC building is dead? Because the parts have gone up in price? Okay, so that's something I wasn't really in tune with. But the reason why I said, well, wait a minute, my next PC, very possibly I might want to be able to have that. I don't even remember the name of the chip. Some of you are going to know this immediately. The AI chip. And I might want it to host a large language model locally so that I can do more with it. But that's not going to be for business.
Read chat, please.
Isn't it still okay for gaming? So Steve responds again. Well, let's see, Greg's comment was worthwhile too. Construction crews are too busy building data centers. All right. And then Steve's comment, as a result, custom home-built computer pricing has gone through the roof in the past 3 months, becoming unaffordable to individuals. Now, is that actually confirmed that it's because of the demand from AI centers, or is it the taxing thing, the tariffs, or other things? Computer pricing just going through the roof in the past 3 months doesn't automatically tell me that it's AI, but I don't research that topic. Greg M says, yes, OpenAI corner the markets on memory. And Tim says, because parts come from other countries. And then he says, because of Trump. So, yeah, I don't know. But it doesn't, for my support of small businesses, custom PC building being dead isn't going to cause me any grief, or my clients any grief. Let's see the safety line comment.
Read chat, please.
That last read chat. Let's go 1, 2, 3 was Jim saying 11:54. I'm going to scroll to that in OBS. And 11:54, Jim says his main objection. Oh, that read chat, Jim, that you did there, give me an exclamation mark Y or N appropriately. Did chatbot, did it fail to speak up for that? Did it fail? Yes. Which one? Did SpeakerBot call that out, or did it not call that out when you did that, Jim? Because he did an exclamation mark C. It says, my main objection to AI is the resources it's gobbling up for little return. Power and water resources are already strained, and they want all these data centers built. Yeah, so he says, no, it did not do the read chat. So he did another one. Thank you. And please, anybody, if SpeakerBot doesn't speak up when it's supposed to, do another one. Well, I'm getting a tremendous amount of value from AI. If you don't use it, you won't get any value from it. Power bills going up, water resources strained. Thanks, AI. I don't know. Are you just going to blame every cost going up on AI? Maybe it's, if you have any links to give me about valid reporting, not the what, alarmness people, but real valid reporting on that, I'll look into it. I'm not going to resist getting educated about it, but I don't want the alarmness reporters. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to change the account, says Steve. Carrie Holzen. Hello, Carrie. Says the RAM shortage is here to stay, raising prices on PCs and phones. And this is from Verge. Okay, I will. Well, we're caught up here. Oh, some other links. Okay, great. Awesome. Ask for links and you shall receive. It's here to stay from The Verge. So I'll be reading that in detail and clicking through on links and finding out if it's, because a lot of times the headlines are not supported by the content within them. So I'll be looking at that. Sometimes they do support it. But still, I'm not willing to give up AI for RAM shortage even. Moore's Law is dead. Dirty DRAM deal. The day RAM market snapped. Okay. I will give that a good read through too. Like I don't have other things to do. Jeff Ryman. Micron quit making consumer RAM to devote all their production to the memory used in AI computers. All right. Do you have reference for that? Sam, Doug, if a client asked you what email provider do you recommend, what do you usually go with?
Read chat, please.
I'll go Google, I'll go Microsoft
Read chat,
refers to GoDaddy. GoDaddy, fine. And now let's see. Microsoft goes to GoDaddy. Google hosts the email itself. Those are pretty much where those are my go-tos. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to get the lowest price. I don't care about that. I'm supporting business that are generating money, save $5, $50 here or there. They don't care. And if they are a viable business, they don't care about those small amounts and they do like the major names, and I go with the devil that I know. If they want something else or they already have something else, I don't try to pull them away from it unless I have significant reason to. So Jim's DDR4 16 gigabyte kit went from $35 to $100 in less than 2 months. All right. Has that kind of price fluctuation not happened in the past due to other market conditions? I'm presuming that these articles you're giving me is going to substantiate that these are forever going to be higher prices. Still, in the context of business, computers for business, that's a sniffle. Marsman, supply and demand still works. Micron will quit in February, quit making consumer RAM, devote all their production to the memory used in AI computers. Is the RAM actually different, or is it just that they're only going to sell to AI computers? Consumer RAM, Micron. So does that mean that you go to Amazon and you won't find Micron available? Is that what it means by consumer RAM, just not available in consumer marketplaces? Here's a Micron news release. That must be about what you've been saying. Announces exit from crucial consumer
chat, please.
business. So I've got that one. I've got all these articles lined up. Thank you, everybody, for providing them, because I'm not out trolling news. Micron outlines grim outlook for DRAM supply and SSD RAM. CEO says it can only meet half to 2/3 of demand. This is a Tom's Hardware article, I suppose. Wow. Ask for links and you shall get them. Thank you. I am seriously grateful for those. Danielle Emberley. Hi, Danielle. Good to see you. PC Parts Picker still shows guides for desktop builds that look reasonable in price. Okay. See, I look at these prices. I have no idea that those are reasonable prices or not. Not consumer market. That was probably reply to something I was saying at the time. But since I lost that context, not sure. Prices are likely to come down in 2027. Okay, well, there you go. Now,
Read chat, please.
Okay, if prices are going up so much because of AI demand, isn't that going to mean that manufacturing is going to beef up? And once they have more supply, then prices will come more in line? Isn't that normally how things work? That would be consistent with Kerry saying that prices are likely to come down in 2027. DDR5 will continue at high prices until at least 2027. Steve saying Micron's own news. I thought one of those links already was Micron. Am I getting a duplicate here? Let's see. Yeah, see those two? Those are the same thing. Yeah, this one was already supplied by somebody else. So I'm gonna delete that one, just so I don't have double tabs there. But obviously provide one that you didn't think was already provided, so thank you. They can sell at higher prices because corporate will pay. John says he uses Google search every day and get great responses for whatever I need. I still use a Google search once in a while when I know it's going to get me right there. For instance, hey, Doug, When would you use a Google search? I'll use a Google search for Windows Media Creation Tool to get me to a link for that, or CPU-Z download, or Crystal Disk Mark download. Google's a place to go for that. I'm not going to use an AI for that. So there is still a place where a normal Google search is still my go-to. Low-cost builds are at the bottom of the page. Expensive builds at the top. Lower-cost builds at the bottom of the page. There's the bottom. 497. All right. That's how. What is that equipped with? And this is PC Part Picker. See, is there a date? I imagine these are kind of automatically generated by AI on an ongoing basis, maybe. Memory. DDR4, 8 gigs at $96. So 45, 47.50, something like that each. It doesn't strike me as, but I don't know. And maybe they used to be $17 each. I don't know. I mean, that doesn't seem like a deal breaker if it is going to stay at that, but I think it makes total sense that if AI server farms are driving those prices up, that manufacturing should increase. But it takes a while. It's always lagging behind in these situations. Absolutely. Building new fabrication takes years. But building the AI farms too takes time. I mean, how building new fabrication, if these AI farms are going up so quick, it's because they're throwing money at the building process. Well, can't fabrication throw money at the problem too? Greg says they cannot beef up production if they have full production. OpenAI signed agreements with Samsung SK Hynix for 40% per month of the global DRAM output. It might take me another read through to comprehend that. They cannot beef up production. I'm assuming he's talking about the RAM production. They can't beef up production if they have full production. Oh, okay. Well, you're talking about within one production facility, they can't beef it up. What I'm saying is build more production. That's what I mean by beef up. Yeah, they can do that. You're saying if a plant is working at 50% production, you're using the term beef up as only to apply to increase the production in a particular plant. Now, I'm saying if AI is causing that kind of demand, that their growth trajectory, I don't think it's going to level out in 2027. I think the RAM producers are going to realize, and all the chip producers, everything else, it's not just RAM, right? Everything else involved in those computers is going to be more and more demand. It's going to keep coming. There was a time when there was people exclaiming, "There's so many cars on the roads." 1905. How can we accommodate more? We can't. It's got to slow down. Innovation, ingenuity, you cannot stop advances. You can only figure out ways to manage them. Manage, get along with it. Lenovo stockpiles RAM to hopefully keep laptop prices down. Okay, I don't, I'm not saying that I question or doubt it, but it seems if the marketplace will bear a higher price, why would Lenovo spend money on storage to keep prices down? That just seems like something the board of directors would be just totally all over them about. No. If the market bears higher price, and if you can sell them now at higher prices, and RAM could degrade, doesn't degrade over time, but it's it gets replaced by newer versions of RAM. You can't just sit on it. But I will look at it. Lenovo stock. Now again, this is a title, so I don't trust it a whole lot. Lenovo stockpiles RAM to hopefully keep laptop prices down. When I read the detail of it, I won't be surprised to find out that the detail does not quite support the title. That happens so much. But Carrie's real thorough about vetting articles. TSMC is trying to ramp up production in their U.S. fabs, but they have to get the equipment installed first. Oh, Jim says that memory was $35 in June. So the memory that was somewhere around 85,
Red chat,
so it must have been
please.
about four. I said it was around 47.50. I think is what I said they must have been per stick. So $35 to 47.50. Sorry, if you're in business generating revenue, that's not even a sneeze. If you're concerned about the budget user, they shouldn't be getting a custom computer in the first place. They should be getting a mini computer. $200. We're done. If you've got any kind of demands that you need a custom built computers, that difference in price, it's not even a sneeze. My opinion. Yeah, I know you're going to jump all over me for that. Let's see
chat,
that. Let me
please.
get to those read chats. Let's see. I got that highlighted at 12:14. That's only a few minutes ago. So I think there's 3 read chats. I think the third one has not come in yet. Was it just 2? The prior read chat? No. All right. John Williams, I use Google search every day and get great responses for whatever I need. It sounds familiar. I think I already read that one. Mini computers need RAM too. Yeah, okay, so the mini computers might go up $20, $40. Where do you think mini computers get their money from? Okay, sure. I've seen some price increase, but it went from 200 to around 230 for my base model. And my clients, they're like, what? Are you kidding me? They're just all over that compared to what they've paid for their computers in the past. Now, keep in mind that 5-6 years ago, I was commonly selling them HP refurbished computers. I think they were $500, $600, $700 each. And these computers are running circles around those. Carrie says, look at the best price on Amazon for 64 gig DDR5. Then look at camelcamelcamel.com to see the price 3 months ago. By summer, it is likely not available at any price. All right. I will accept your evaluation on that. Sam Lazar, I do use traditional searches. It is for when I'm wanting to do my own research or looking up a place like a restaurant. I'm kind of getting tired of this conversation. Are you? Minis go up $50 still, and how much of that is from tariffs? How much is memory? Now, what about the other parts? For those of you who are so up on this subject about memory going up, what about the CPUs? What about graphics? Computer cases? I imagine those aren't going up so much, although the AI centers, aren't they putting a lot of demand on cases for case manufacturers? Mass manufacturers won't be impacted as much, but home PC builders are out of luck. You know, and that could be. They might go the way of blacksmiths.
Read chat, please.
The world always changes. It will change around you. You will not always be able to do what you've always done in the past. John Williams says 215. I think for me that would be 1215. And I'm going to expect that would be John Williams. Oops, nope. Oh, here it is. 1216. I already read that, John. I think it seems like you made that comment previously too. CPU prices going up, storage drives, GPUs. Carrie says it's nothing to do with tariffs. Oh, all right. For mini PCs. And he would know that. He would keep up on that. Now, think of some other topic, Doug. Come on. 1222. Orban Klossa. Oh, Gary Weisenberger shows up. Yeah, and points out we buy RAM for automotive. We have long-term contracts, AI, and large computer manufacturers first, then consumers. Orban Colossus, hello, good to see you. Right to repair is a real movement. As tax-paying consumers, we can demand ownership of what we buy. Right now, right to repair. Yes, it's a real movement. I don't in the Windows PC market, not struggling with that issue at all. In the Apple market, yes. Farm equipment, yes. Auto repair, perhaps. I'm not sure what angle you're coming in with that comment, Forbin. And Gary says their prices for automotive have doubled in the last 3 months. I assume that means prices for memory. You have a right to spend $300 to repair a $100 device. The big thing in agriculture for right to repair is these huge combines that are computer controlled. They break down. You have to take it into a service center. To haul one of those to a service center is a friggin' nightmare. And they're not allowed to have a non-authorized technician to come out and work on it. And last I heard, they don't do that. Last I heard on that whole subject, it's a big nightmare for agriculture. Gary says, yes, but bare chips. I guess that's in response to the question about, is he referring to RAM memory? Bare chips. As opposed to tiger chips, lion chips, snake chips. These are bear chips. Doug, sometimes we just don't know what to do with you. John Williams is saying BIOS updates. Is that why you were mentioning? No, he wasn't mentioning right to repair.
Read chat, please.
We can do BIOS updates. Oh, maybe you're asking what I did with it, with BIOS updates. Sam Lazar, give me some more words. You know, the price has not gone up for words. You can afford more. You can afford more words than that. You have to assess, stupid extra window popping up. You have to assess the cost, if it is even worth it. A cheap SATA SSD and Linux Mint, sure. A new screen, maybe not. I'm going to assume he's referring to laptops. Probably, Sam's was asking if I'd do upgrades for clients' laptops. And I think Sam does a fair amount of support for home users. And I think that's more likely a place where you might run into the need, because often if a computer is no longer serving, if a laptop is no longer serving the purpose for a business client, the answer is often just buy a new laptop, particularly for the last couple of years. Because of the Windows 10, Windows 11 migration. If a laptop doesn't support Windows 11, we're not going to upgrade it. Excuse me. Should have muted that. You have a button, Doug. Oh, okay. So that's another way to use an older laptop is put an SSD in it and Linux Mint. None of my business clients are going to be using Linux Mint to save the cost of a sneeze. Okay, you got to realize business offices, they are paying each employee every month, every single month, a dollar amount in salary or hourly, whatever, that just outstrips these costs multiple times over. So to show somebody how to use the differences they need to know about Linux Mint, and then they want to do something that requires Windows, oh no. If you got a home user that just needs to do some web surfing and email, fine. Oh, that was a mistake. Any issues with updating PCs after last Saturday? Okay, good question. Thank you, Marsman. Marsman, I could have, there are many people that I could have given points to, but you're helping me get off this topic. You should realize that myself and probably many others are ready to move on to something else. Doug comedy. That one doesn't sound quite so interesting. Critical motherboard flaw allows game cheats. Yeah, that's not on the cost subject. I don't feel at all interested in that one myself. So, PCs after, okay. Last week, the computers I had in here, I had two of them. One was the owner of the bookkeeping and tax return office. The other was one of the staff members. The staff member, I replaced the graphics card. I think we did that during the show. And it then was able to enable the FTPM. Thank you, AMD. And secure boot, and then do an in-place upgrade to Windows 11. I think we did that during the show. The other computer needed an upgraded storage drive. It had around 110, I think, gigabytes of free space, enough where the Windows 11 upgrade would begin and run all the way through and restart the computer and then say, whoops, we ran into a problem, we're rolling back. So it unwound it. When I put the new drive in, it worked fine. It did the upgrade. Any issues? Yeah, not with the upgrade. When I went there Monday morning to install the computers, well, my biggest issue is I got a cold. Sunday, I got the first cold that I've had since COVID. I have not had a head cold in over 5 years. I did not catch anything during COVID. And I used to have a head cold every year. And it would last for 8 weeks. I now know that was not a head cold that lasted 8 weeks, is that I got over the virus and then got a secondary bacterial infection. Because now I know a whole lot more about that thanks to AI. So anyway, I got hit with a head cold, not the flu, no fever, no stomach problems. Now is a problem. So I kind of shortchanged a little bit of the things that I did for them, and I delivered the computers to them. I wore a mask. I was on, antihistamine. I told them I'm sick, so keep your distance. I wore gloves. Installed the computers, and then the owner called back with, both of the computers wound up reporting problems, but it looks like those problems already existed. And they had not been able to even test those because of the other limitations of their old computers. So on the owner's computer, she was trying to send tax returns to her clients from Lacert. Lacert sends when it sends a tax return by email, it uses Outlook to do that. Well, she has a Gmail account, not a Microsoft account. So she interacts with her email through the web interface for Gmail. She has a huge, 70,000 emails in her Gmail account. And Lacert to Outlook was reporting an error. And the process for fixing that was delete the OST file and recreate it. It was using an IMAP. And every time I recreated it, it was just taking, it was estimating like 8 hours to synchronize all the folders. Couldn't even get a test email to go out. The solution AI walked me through the solution was what we wound up doing is, since she doesn't use Outlook, and I could have eventually come to this myself and with Google searches and just, taxing my brain. But I got to it quicker with AI. And the solution was to go into the Outlook send receive configuration and disable incoming entirely. We don't need any incoming mail in Outlook. We don't need any of the folders. The only thing we need to do is send emails. Once I made those changes, then boom, everything works perfect. But that was not a complication of the Windows 11 upgrade. That was a complication of Outlook in interaction with Lacert. And she had had problems with that off and on through substantial history. The other computer for the staff member, no. That staff member has not had any callbacks whatsoever. It was another person in the office who got a mini computer. She called with an issue. What was it? Let me see if I can find it. Did she call or did she send an email? Looking to see if it was an email. Oh, yes. Yeah. She is having a problem with a software called CFS. Oh, it's for e-filing IRS payments. It's how they, electronically file and make IRS payments for tax returns for their clients. And I asked her, is this the problem that you were having before the new mini computer? She said no. So I am thinking it's got something to do with the mini computer. So I do some troubleshooting on it, AI assisted. And let's see, I told her, I don't think you need to stay on the phone with me. I can pursue this later after hours. Let you get back to your work. Before the end of the day, there's another piece of the conversation that I realized I left out. At some point along the line, I asked her more questions. Instead of just that this is a problem since the new computer, when is the last time you were successful with this process? About 5 months ago, long before the new computer. So if she was successful with this process the week before the new computer, then that's reason to focus in on this computer. But 5 months ago, no. So before the end of the day, she sent me an email indicating that she had contacted CFS. Hang on. And they said they thought it could be a corrupt download and not the fault of the computer at all, and that I was to hold off on pursuing it any further. So that wasn't a complication of the Windows 11 upgrade. That was all in response to the question about if there was any issues from Marsman updating PC after last Saturday. So I'd say that's a no. Lasersmith chips. Oh, I guess I was doing Doug comedy again. Up, I got to jump. Let's see if auto scroll. Oh, that's sick. Is that where we're at? There, that's where I was at. Oh man, I tell you, when I get over all this Windows 11 stuff and can do the development that I have in mind for this channel, this bit here, scrolling through these chat messages, will be gone. I will still be able to interact with them, but in a so slick way. And that is also AI assisted. Surprise, surprise. "18 minutes and counting." Is that right? Yeah. No, 20 minutes. Yeah, I don't know what all those numbers are about. I'm not going to try to figure that out. Forbin. Forbin Colossus asking, do you foresee an increase in Linux usage, not price, due to TPM, FTPM restrictive motherboard requirements? Not in business. Absolutely not. I do not want to go gently into the mass surveillance of America's that is being funded by billions of our tax dollars. I do not want to go gently into the mass surveillance of America. Oh my God. I hope that didn't come across as paranoid. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. What employee of what agency cares about what you're doing or company? Could that be giving the three-letter agencies tools and access that criminals would be very uncomfortable with? Probably. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. As far as anybody, anywhere, caring about what DougBetts is doing, oh, absolutely not. Except advertisers, and I don't mind that. I do not mind advertisers being able to place advertisements to find potential likely purchasers of their products. That's useful to me. That is helpful to me. I don't mind them tracking that information about me. I'd rather not see advertisements for stuff that I would never buy, never be interested in. And if the advertisers can get more effective advertising, that helps them keep down the price of their products. And they are in stiff competition for product price with other product manufacturers. So I don't mind that. I use Google to get those BIOS updates for custom motherboards, not using AL for that. I'd agree with that. Google's absolutely the right place to go for that. AI is, that's like, what, buying a Ferrari to go to the grocery store? Wrong tool. Wrong tool for the job. Google's the way to do that. Absolutely. So that doesn't diminish the value of AI. Okay. I'm going to go. Oh, I was wondering, could I show you the result of one of my AI projects? The one that actually that protocol was created from was for copying time slips from QuickBooks Online to FreshBooks. Just monotonous copy, paste, copy, 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 go over here, paste, 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 head up, down, head up and up, head up and head down, head up and head down, because I'm having to type colons and Windows key V and Windows key C, and I gotta look down the keyboard for that because I'm not quite touch typist for that. So let's see, I've got a highlight there for where I was last at in chat. So I'm going to open up QuickBooks Online, and I'm going to be actually displaying a timesheet. And I will blur out the client information because that's on the left side. Well, I might have to blur out the content too if it's specific. It's going to take me a minute to put this together. All right. There's a little bit of downtime in that week because of having a head cold at the end there, I see. So if I blur out those and I wonder if I can maneuver these to where I'll have only time slips that don't have names. No. Okay, let's do that way. That shows 3 time slips. Now, studio mode on. Then bring up that timesheet for here. And I'm going to have to load that AutoHotkey script. Let's see, I've got my old, let's use my old-fashioned blurs because I know how to use them much better. So that'll blur out all of those. Bring that down there. Let's make this the preview window I'll put on full screen over on this monitor. That gives me confirmation of the blurring. And I can leave the picture in picture and let's do, see some of these descriptions will have people's names in the body of the description. All right. Okay. Let's grab another blur. Okay, I've found a new blur way. With the assistance of AI, I found a better way to do blurs, but I don't have that fully implemented yet. Okay. How much longer is this going to take, Doug? Longer than I want it to. But I think it'll be worthwhile. Let's get that one here. There. And then, now what happens if I turn off my picture in picture? Oops. Okay, so we're not going to turn off picture in picture. Now I can actually test what I'm about to demonstrate to be sure that it doesn't cause the screen to do something weird, but I don't think it does. In order to load the AutoHotkey, there's an icon on my desktop, and I'm just using the browser to get to that the file explorer to get to that. And it is this one. So I double click that and I check my system tray and I see that the auto hotkey is running. So it's going to be that screen that when I transition, the blurred version of it is going to show up. So I'm going to test first. Oh, you know what? I don't remember if I... Ooh. Did I blur that whole side? Oh, I did. Oh, that genius. That was good forethought. And yeah, it's Alt W for this one. So see if that works. And that did nothing. Nothing, I tell you. Bum, 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 bum. Did I remember this right? Yeah, that's the way it goes. So yeah, I was at a troubleshooting point with this, and I'm not sure that I reactivated it to its normal behavior because it is not launching. Let's see, version 2.3. Oh, I picked the wrong script. I loaded the wrong script. That's all. Okay, so now let's test this. Yes, there it goes. Okay, so there, it's almost ready to show. And because of the troubleshooting that we're doing, I had this thing slowed down. Now, so then what I would do is 14, okay. So 14, and this is going to display, yeah, that was going to display something. So I'm going to put on a blur at that point. I'm out of blurs. I've got no more blurs. Is that in a blurred area? No, it's not. Can I? Oh. Okay, that'll be a way to do it. That'll be a way to do it. I'm going to have to take it off screen briefly when it gets to a certain point. Okay, so here we go. Transition. He seems nervous. Yeah, okay, there we go. There you go. So here's a weekly timesheet. And the blurred out is over on the left-hand side. There's blurs there. And I'm going to make that big so I can see what's actually going out to you to verify. Oh, excuse me. Got a text from a neighborhood watch. Lost boy out in the street. Oh, no, not a lost boy, lost dog, puppy. All right, not going to sweat that. Yeah, so client names blurred on the left-hand side and some blurs of names within the paragraphs here, start times and such. So this is all in QuickBooks Online. Well, for the last few months, I have been doing QuickBooks Online and FreshBooks duplicate entries. And since I have FreshBooks up to speed now, I'm tired of entering on both of them. So I'm just entering on QuickBooks Online now, and then using these auto hotkey macros to copy that information into FreshBooks. Well, FreshBooks has a different organization for the information, puts it in different places. And so my first iteration of this was on the actual timeslip entry page, which is not this. This is a timesheet. On the timeslip entry page, I had an auto hotkey that would copy it into FreshBooks. Well, that worked fine as long as I was doing it every time that I do a QuickBooks timeslip. Well, then I got, busy running and bumping and decided to, stopped being diligent about that. So to go back and reopen those individual time slips to use the auto hotkey, that's too slow. So I want to go to this timesheet because it'd be much quicker here. So this auto hotkey sequence happens in 2 steps. I'm only going to be showing you the QuickBooks side of this, where what this command is going to do, Alt-W, is what triggers it. Once I've loaded the command into memory, and it stays in memory for the rest of until I reboot the computer or intentionally exit it, is it's going to copy all the information. It's going to start over on this left-hand side with the client name. And the way that I start this is I click in that field. And when I do that, it's going to do a drop-down list of other client names. Yeah, I'm going to take that off screen just for a moment to be sure. Yeah, that's still blurred out. It does a drop-down list of client names. And this is where I start the macro. So what it does at first is it copies that client name, because the client name in FreshBooks is identical. And then it tabs to services. We don't need to copy that because all of my charges are called services. Then it tabs to the next field. I'm trying to point. Oh, I can point to it here. I can point to it. Yeah, with that. It tabs to here, tabs to here, tabs to here. It does not copy that. We don't need to copy that. Tabs here, tab, 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 tabs here, and tabs into the description field or notes field, it's called. And then it takes this time information and it parses that. It looks for the colon. It takes the digits to the left of the colon, to the right of the colon. It considers the hyphen. It takes the digits to the right of the hyphen on the left and right side of the colon. It considers whether it's AM. It has structure built into it that if it is showing, for instance, 12:30 p.m., then the beginning time is most likely AM. If it's less than 12, then it's going to use AM for that. When it goes to paste this into FreshBooks, it has parsed the information to where it can paste 9:25 a.m. in the beginning field and 9:30 a.m. in the ending field, or p.m. or whatever the numbers are. So this auto hotkey has all of that coded within it, and all of that was created for me by AI. Tremendous nuisance time savings for me. And that is money because all of my time is billable. Well, I want all my time to be billable. So now I'm going to do this, Alt W. And since I have this slowed down, you're going to be able to see it. You're going to be able to see it run. Is it okay for me to have the red dot during this? I don't know. I'm going to take the red dot off. Uh-oh. There. Yeah, I don't think the Alt W would have worked. Okay, so here we go, Alt W. And then it moves to services. I'm not touching the keyboard. It's moving. It's going through each of these fields. There's a longer delay on some of these because we were having some troubleshooting issues. And then it goes to the notes field and it copies that. And then that's where I have to take that away from you for a moment. Because at the end, I do still have a troubleshooting piece turned on here. So I'm going to drag this over into a blur area. Because we're in a troubleshooting area, what this does is it gives me this dialog window at the end, tells me what it captured. It has assigned the date of December 14th for the time slip, which is correct. See, that 05 was in the December 14th column. And it assigned to the variable called client, it assigned the client name. And then to the start time field, it assigned the time, and it shows AM there. It's blurred out, you can't see. And it shows the end time. Now, what I do next is I go into FreshBooks and use Alt-S, and it pastes that information into FreshBooks. So I don't have to go through all those fields and type it in, Control-C and Control-V and whatever. Yeah, I know. It took me longer to describe that than to actually do it. But describing it is not part of the process of using the auto hotkey macro. All right, I think we must be at the end of the show. Yes. So that's wanting to leave without saving. Why? Leave without saving. Yeah, because I didn't make any changes to that timesheet. And then we'll come back to that. Come over here and get rid of that preview and that preview. And I think that's the end of it. So there weren't any read chats during that. Okay, we're good. There's the email address. If you'd like to send a question, you can send by email.
Chat, please.
You can put a comment in any of my videos. You can ask a question in chat. If you don't currently have rights, the approval to participate in the chat room, you can ask for that by leaving a comment on any of my videos. Savi Manor says, why are you using AM PM instead of 24-hour format? It's my preference. Send a time slip to a client and it says 1345. Some civilians don't know that. In the US, we use AM and PM pretty much exclusively. You start throwing the 24-hour format on the clients, it doesn't work. It's stable. Okay, very good. Have a great weekend, everybody. I will catch you. Oh, I guess, hey, Merry Christmas for those who celebrate. And I'll see you next Saturday. What button? Oh, it's over there. That's right. Does he know what he's doing? Who knows?
Tune in, days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more than you've dreamed. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tune in, days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more than you've dreamed. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply more deeply VB, where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme.